Welcome to the Digital Customer Experience Podcast by Giosg. My name is Daniel Paul, and I'm thrilled to bring you stories, insights, and expert opinions on the ever evolving world of digital customer experience. This podcast is brought to you by Giosg. Giosg is a leading SaaS company with a versatile B2B platform combining innovative products and services to drive success in sales, marketing, support, and customer engagement for major brands worldwide. Today, we have an absolutely amazing guest, Dr. Umar Zakir Abdul Hamid. With experience in the future mobility and roles at Sensible 4, Moovita, Zeekr, and Proton, he is a global leader in autonomous driving, electric, and connected vehicles. He has 30 technical publications. He also is an award-winning engineer and speaker passionate about inspiring the next generation. His unique career path showcases strategic moves across continents and sectors, underlining his comprehensive understanding of the mobility industry. We would love to welcome Umar to our podcast. Welcome, Umar.
Hi, Daniel. Hi. Thanks for hosting me.
Umar, who are you outside of work? What does Umar love?
So yeah, outside of work, I basically am you can say quite a private person, but I like music, especially, and also no sonically, and also I like to write. So that's why I have a lot of books, not only in technical but also outside of technical.
Let's jump into a little bit of music. What kind of music does Umar like?
So you can say something like indie rock and then sort of like R&B, this kind of like Majid Jordan, this kind of stuff. And also synthwave.
Oh, wow. Nice, nice. So, Umar is not just a technical person, not just a speaker who speaks on stage. He's also a music fanatic who loves to listen to music, party, and just have a good time. Am I right?
Officially, yes.
All right, Umar. Winning awards is not something new for you. You are still very young, but the things that you've accomplished is amazing. Can you let us know about what motivated you to do this, make this achievement, and what are the achievements that you've had?
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, first of all, what motivated me is that when I was doing my PhD in Malaysia, collaboration with Smart Mobility Research Center in Tokyo, I got some revelation, epiphany. It's like,
Hmm.
like epiphany. And I was thinking like, I can go further actually in this field because my mentor said that actually, if you want to go big, just go big. So, and then I noticed that there were some very big revolutions going on around 2015, 2016 during the autonomous vehicle hype, and I thought that this could be very big. And then I just thought that after PhD, we founded some team in Singapore and Malaysia collaboration, and I thought, no, I don't want to settle down like this kind of level. I went to Finland, a small startup called Sensible 4. It's a spin-off of a spin-off focusing on localization and mapping. But then the company was less than 10 people when I joined. When I left, it's like I helped to scale up the company up until 100 people. And we were one of the most hyped startup back then in Europe. So it allowed me to be part of the winning team such as Finnish Engineering Award 2020 and also Dubai, one of the earliest winner for Dubai Self-Driving Challenge, if I'm not mistaken. And of course, continuously, I like to be at the forefront of the industry because no one really know what is exactly the end of the road now. So I am active in society like SAE International, based in US. I'm the secretary for their cooperative driving automation committee. So as you can see, all of this cross-functional involvement last year, SAE International basically uh, recognized me with the SAE Young Industry Leadership Award 2023. Only two people globally got this award. So it's maybe my main motivation is like it's very interesting challenge together with other experts in this field to shape the future. This is main motivation.
It's lovely how, we kind of realize that the world is so small. You are from such an amazing city called Kuala Lumpur,
Mm.
and then you have visited Finland, where exactly I'm sitting now and doing this podcast. You have come to this country and you have grown up a startup from 10 to 100, and you keep innovating and you keep achieving. And I really hope that you inspire youngsters like how you've been inspiring past many years. So now, Omar, you have
Yes.
inspired youngsters, you have innovated, but now it's time for our audience to know a little bit in depth about certain things about digital customer experience. So,
Mhm.
as we all know, digital customer experience is constantly evolving and changing. So, with the arrival of new software based cars or software based vehicles in general, the digital customer the digital customer experience is changing. How do you envision this new change in the automotive industry?
Mhm. So one of the things that rarely being discussed is that when we had those autonomous vehicle hype a few years ago, up until actually 2021, early 2021, maybe early 2022, until the industry realized a more practical direction. Uh, the biggest contribution of autonomous vehicle to the automotive industry is that it brought this software-centric mindset into the a very mechanical laden industry. And eventually, when we were importing, the automotive industry were bringing a lot of like cross-functional experts from outside of the industry, such as software, and then they started talking about software language, agile, this Scrum, and then there were like also some challenges and debate whether we need to follow software fully, or maybe we need to fuse it with a legacy safety process and so on. And eventually, this brought to a bigger topic, which is like disruptive innovation, business innovation, which means that the advance in autonomous vehicle allow people to basically create a very big fundamental for automotive industry to for further monetization such as digital experience in the vehicle. So as you can see, if let's say we take an example of mobile phone, right? They didn't start with straight away iPhone, the
Mhm.
evolution. They started with basically maybe Nokia 3310 with from Finland,
Yep.
Espoo. And then after that, people started customer centricity started to accept that this is the direction, and eventually even old people are spreading the fake news on WhatsApp.
Mm.
And but for automotive, it's the same. Eventually, contribution of automotive industry is that now autonomous industry is that now we are seeing a lot of digitalization in the cockpit and cabin. See, more discussion on the predictive maintenance, subscription of maybe seat heating and so on, and also even omni-channel platform to buy the vehicle direct to consumer. This is the contribution of autonomous industry,
So, a lot
roughly.
of innovation is happening. How do you
Mhm.
balance innovation with user friendliness in
Mm.
vehicle software?
Okay, so I am lucky to work in the both product management and innovation. This is where product managers and product leaders in the company needs to champion and bridge between the market innovation, market demand, market pool basically, and also what engineers think and believe they can do. And the biggest challenge here is not to build a prototype. And here is why, in my personal opinion, is that the collapse of the autonomous vehicle industry is because the challenge of productization are underestimated by companies. When we say productization, we need to consider the whole ecosystem of automotive industry, and basically not only bringing the technology, but what will happen to the supply chain, what will happen to the customer behavior, how can we yield sustainable profitability to the company, to the supplier, and also maintain the customer desire to basically paying continuously for our services. And this is the art of product management as the integral role. And actually, automotive companies start to change from project mindset to a more product management mindset. It's quite different, you know.
So you say that is how they're balancing innovation with user friendliness.
Yes, yes. And
100%.
also, of course, transparency and co-creation is the key, because we have passed, or maybe the time where companies know everything. And if we are aware, a lot of companies have started to basically reach out to the customer by asking their survey and so on, so that co-creating with the customer and also co-creating with the public authority, the regulators, and so on, to build a better product for their company.
The future of software based car companies is constantly in evaluation and in check. What are the primary challenges and benefits for car companies pivoting towards the software based models?
Okay, so the benefit is, okay, one of the biggest challenge is when we are talking about software-defined vehicle, we cannot build it where we build a vehicle and patch the software around the vehicle. But when we are saying a software-defined vehicle, we should put software as the cornerstone of everything. And this requires the change of mindset, how we want to govern the product, how we want to build the product, how we want to actually, our strategic direction, our organization, who we want to hire, and so on, when we put the software in the middle. And eventually, if we do it right, based on my experience in different kind of organization in different country, I believe that the opportunities are, when you set the foundation right, you will be able to have more monetization along the way. But of course, this cannot be seen in the first few years. You will be burning a lot of money, and you will need a lot of investment and education, not only outside of your company but also internally, because a lot of change
Mm.
management. And this is why the hiring of people who can bridge integrative role within different departments are important.
So you're also saying that there is a benefit of monetization in the future,
Mhm.
but there is a challenge of earlier investment.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So
And
if the companies can strategize or differ between traditional automotive companies and software first companies, what is the strategies that differs between these two kinds of companies?
okay, the difference, okay, first of all, why a lot of OEMs are creating spin-off like pure play electric vehicle company is to expedite the time to market.
Mm.
When you are a very big giant companies, like a very big gigantic, and you have like a lot of networks legacy mindset in the company, it is nearly impossible to change. Actually, every
Yeah.
day you are facing just like a tiring meetings just to change.
Yeah.
So it is easier to create like pure play. This is also one of the reasons why startups are very fast. But if big companies manage to even change little bit their direction, they will be able to catch up internally. And I think this is one of the, based on my experience, one of the biggest challenges when we are talking about emerging technologies. The productization, the internal challenges, the communication. And when we are talking about a software-defined vehicle or a legacy, companies need to always balance and don't follow the hype, because it's easy, just to jump the conclusion that autonomous vehicle is the future. Because I also work in autonomous vehicle company before, I know how this mantra work. I even believe that thing until I realized that autonomous vehicle is just a small portion of a big, larger ecosystem that needs to be disrupted. So there is this word that I used to told my no I used to tell my friend in Zeekr group in Sweden last time. uh, when you are trying to bring the change, you need to understand that you will disrupt how end user will interact with your product. So we do it stepwise scaling. Is it stepwise scaling our product step by step? And by having stepwise, you will also be able to monitor any changes in the market, and eventually you will be able to react. This is agility in a real sense, not just like agile the process. So if you envision too big, you will fail miserably. And this is what happened to the autonomous vehicle hype last time.
Yep. Uh, there is a very important discussion around data ownership in automotive industry. So, in the context of connected vehicles, how do you perceive the future of data ownership?
Mhm. And one of the biggest unspoken artifacts when we are talking about disruption in automotive industry, we are actually also seeing the dynamic of power changes in the industry. If previously most of the knowledge are based in certain geographical area, and now we are seeing the rise of eastern countries, for example. And this actually bring a lot of market entry barrier created in some geographical location in the West, for example, like in the European Union. The challenges, if we want to talk about software-defined vehicle, is the privacy. They have like data act, they have like data market, even they have like GDPR and so on. A lot of regulations focusing on privacy, and this is what company, if they start to put software in the middle in their mindset, in their cornerstone of the strategy, they will understand that when we are talking about software, you will see a lot of services and so on. And this means that playing with data. And this means that how, when your vehicle will enter the market, you want to govern so that it will not go to other unwanted parties. So the challenges are quite big, and I think, I believe actually transparency dialogue between companies are needed. And this is quite, like people say idealist, but not idealist, because when we are bringing software into the game, software is something that welcome open sources, transparency. So there must be some changes and communication between companies also
Yeah.
to, you know.
Yeah. And how do you see, because digital experience is something that is primal these days, regardless of if it's an autonomous vehicle or if it's like a traditional vehicle. What are the latest initiatives you've observed in improving the automotive industry's digital customer experience?
Mhm, mhm. I understand. So, of course, when we are talking about productization, we are seeing, when we are talking about talent, for example, the initiative. I'm not sure whether this is planned or unplanned, but I think it's subconsciously conscious. So basically, you see, companies like Volkswagen, for example, they created Cariad, which is like a very big company, spin-off company focusing only on software.
Yeah.
But of course, we know how it went and so on, the challenges and so on. But eventually, we also have how can I say this? A new demographic that is now leading the discussion. If you take a look at Mercedes-Benz, they have chief software officer position,
Hmm.
which is like Magnus Osberry. I'm not sure about the pronunciation, but basically he is leading the chief software officer position for Mercedes-Benz. And one of the quote that he said in one event that I attended it really interests me and really stick in my head is that, when we want to attract new talents, where you want to build a software defined product, you need to attract talents. How can you attract talents when you are still wearing necktie and blazer?
Hmm.
When the talents are basically working late at night and they want flexible hours, maybe come to the office at 10.
Yeah.
So you cannot attract the best talent. But eventually, actually, a lot of companies started to realize this, and that's why you see a lot of changes of young people holding quite strategic position in companies.
Like you.
I guess so.
So there's that. Speaking to you, I also realized there is a stigma in the automotive software career industry. Like, the perception of careers in automotive software has been changing in recent years with OEMs. You have experienced it yourself. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, of course. There's a lot of changes that have. That's why people say that a connected autonomous shared electric is really disruptive innovation, because it disrupted not only technology but it disrupted also the penetration of new talents that the industry cannot like stop. And I remember when I was like around 2000, maybe 2018,
Hmm.
2019, uh, when people look at automotive startup, they look at something that is not really serious.
Mm,
This is like software guys, what do they know?
yeah.
But then eventually along the way, big companies started to have like data center. I think Stellantis or some companies launched a data center in States last year, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken. And then Renault launches a spin-off called Ampere, which is like battery management, but focusing on software, a new kind of direction. So eventually, people start to accept this software people into
Mm,
the how can I say game.
ecosystem. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So a lot of stigma, and that stigma, of course, because it derived from software doesn't really. This is my personal opinion. There is a stigma that software people doesn't really know how to build safety critical system.
Mm,
And of course, it is true. So this is the role of product management people to balance between beauty of software, fast to market, time to market, and also safety. We cannot give just like 100% the ownership to software people because it is dangerous, to be honest. And also, we need to balance between safety people, because if not, we will not reach the market.
yeah. And because one of the main goals that you have is to inspire younger generations, what skills do you believe are essential for the success in the modern automotive software industry?
Yeah, I think there is this word that I believe, because when we are talking about automotive software, or even like automotive industry nowadays, when you want to work as product manager for automotive companies, there is a lot of uncertainties. But of course, you need to have like one root strength, such as like maybe product, for example, product area. But
Yeah.
then you need to have the potential to be nimble. I mean, like they call it T-shaped specialist. So you have one deep-rooted skill, but then you also will be able to understand the regulation. You will also be able to understand the communication between different stakeholders, understand how to integrate the software into the vehicle, legacy business, marketing. Because when you understand all of this, the multi-potentialite nature will help you to fuse everything into a really good product strategy. So always explore and talk to people from different areas, because this will help you to expand your mind, because automotive industry is no longer like a stable manufacturing industry.
Yeah.
It is like changing every day.
And
Yeah.
what you are saying is, yes, learn the skill, learn the base, learn the core, but be flexible enough to adapt and learn that is also evolving.
Yes. Yes.
100%.
And,
100%.
but you need to have like one core strength there, if of course, because if not, we cannot have like jack of all trades.
Yeah, you need to have a base. Yeah, that makes
Yes.
sense. The next question is one of my favorite. 100% of the time, every successful team members coming together, producing a really good result, has most of the times a very good leader. I'm talking about the importance of leadership in company transformation. Can
Hmm.
you discuss the role of leadership in driving digital transformation within the automotive companies?
Yeah, actually, this is like one of my passion, because you see, like when we are talking about transformation within the automotive industry, one thing that people always forgot to realize is that we are actually not only disrupting how humans are using the mobility, but also how the workforce in the automotive industry is producing the technology, and they
Mm,
are all human. And I have a very deep interest in this topic, that I talk about it in TED Talk. If you Google my name, and also wrote a couple of articles such as in Automotive News Europe and so on. But I even am writing a thesis for my EMBA about transformational language or leadership impact on the changes within your company. What I mean here is that we have a lot of new talents. They
yeah.
need to be integrated into a really legacy system, legacy process,
Mm,
legacy organization. But like it or not, you need to follow their voices, because they know better with the technology. But then in the meantime, there is like some limitation. You need to maintain the profitability of the business. You cannot just like be innovative. So leader, there are three good leader criteria from what I observe and I
mm,
believe we should have. One is like transparency. Always keep update. I notice if a company always keep updating and being transparent with their employees, regardless of good or bad,
yeah.
because when you are talking about with different employee of different companies, you will realize that most of the people are in a lot of automotive companies, they are having some burnout, if you know what I mean. So basically,
100%.
transparency and also humbleness, because we don't know everything,
Yeah.
the role of the leader here just to provide a really good vision. This is where we need to go, and maybe some pillars of like where to go, and how this is what we need to achieve. But then how we want to do it, micromanagement is no longer the way. We need to have like not only bottom up or top down, but also circular the communication. And this require a very humble leader. It's not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy, and that's why I also am interested in the topic of diversity, because when you have diversity, not only in race, not only in sex or something, but also bringing people from different background, and we will have like a lot of exchange in the idea and so on. And this requires a very good leader to lead your organization during a very volatile time.
A very valid point, and I do understand that being a leader is really, really hard, and at the same time, being transparent, being
Mm,
humble, and understanding every single individual. And one thing that I want to add, a very important quality for a leader is to find the best in an individual and boost that best, give more of what that person wants to do, can do, and the best of his abilities, rather than making, okay, I have this task, it needs to be done, you do it because I don't have anyone. This is something I've seen time and again, that when a team pushes is, when a leader pushes his team towards something needs to be done rather than pushing what they are good at, the results are not as good as it is, and it results in burnout.
mm,
But
mm,
I have one last question before we finish this podcast.
mm.
So imagine I'm a magician. I have one amazing magic wand with me. I'm going to give that magic wand to you. And I'm going to ask if you could solve one problem, only one problem in the automotive industry using that magic wand, what would it be?
Okay, I'm not going because stepwise scaling, right? I'm not going too far now. I will go just like to the current day problem that I believe every companies in the world, every companies are facing, regardless of how good they are marketing in the on LinkedIn. So,
Hmm.
uh, is the communication basically a proper communication tool that assure traceability, end-to-end traceability uh, between the back end to the front end guys like sales and marketing and so on. You see, actually, to the startup people, I'm proposing a business idea here, but I will patent this first. But basically, this is the key communication tool that can provide end-to-end traceability.
Okay. So
Mm.
with this, we are coming to the end of the podcast. And to all the startups that are listening to Umar's new idea, he has gonna patent this idea. Make sure if you devise or develop something like this, you give the credit to Umar. Umar, it's been a pleasure having you in our podcast. You are inspirational. You are very successful in what you do. We at Giosg thank you for your time and your expertise on being a guest in our podcast.
Thanks, Daniel.
And for our viewers, if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more in depth discussions on the Digital Customer Experience podcast. So drop us a comment below with your thoughts or any questions that you might have for Umar or a future guest. Until next time, stay curious, keep innovating. This is Daniel Paul from Giosg.